Hey guys, we're gonna go over how to recreate this plugin. It allows us to load scenes. So I have these blocks set here, and then you can see there. It loads all these lists, and we can select the block, and we can use the back and forward brackets, and then you can just click to place whatever active scene we have selected here. So as long as I'm left clicking, I'll be adding more scenes, and then we can right click to deactivate that. Now we can move these around wherever we want and rotate and whatever. So let's go. Alright guys, starting with our first project, let's go to project settings and plugins. Let's create. So here we define the name of the plugin. Subfolder is where in the add-on the folder for all the plugin features would be. So we could just call it the same name, and we can describe it. Then order, Shopify, version number, let's go 0.1. We know it's C script. Then could just name this plugin as a default.gd and let it activate now. Now each script that you make for the plugin, make sure it's a tool. That's it. To make custom windows, you have to extend a regular control node, and now we can place like whatever items you want. So we need a button. Okay, so now we need to create a script here for control and make sure we add it to the add-on section inside here, and remember to make it be a tool. So we're gonna handle most of the things here, such as like interfacing with the UI instead, but in the plugin we need to access everything. So next we're gonna go to setting up the plugin. So now we need to get an instance of that scene to load into the project itself. So let's say var window, and on enter 3, this is when the plugin is activated, like if it's active in the project window or when the editor actually loads. And exit 3 is when project is deactivated or you exit the editor. So let's say object window, you can go ahead and grab this here, slap it there, and then say instance, and we can add it to the doc using add control to container or to doc, and we could put it to the left upper left and specify object window. Save, and now we can reload this project, and there you go, we have this here with no content. So we need to go back here and like name stuff over now. Okay, let's save and reload. Now we should have that updated stuff. There you go. And now we need these buttons to do everything. So we need to go in here, and then let's play around here a bit. Okay, so now what do we need? Need a load button to do stuff. So you can see on button pressed, add it to the objects now, and then we need to add a dialog, pop-up dialog, or file dialog I should say. So this needs to be like full layout. So what we're gonna do is whenever we hit the load button, we're gonna open this dialog. So let's hide that. Let's go back here. We need a reference to the dialog. So let's say, then say on button press, we say dialog dot show, and we also need to go on the dialog and tell it that we only want it to be mode to be open the folder. Then we can go to dialog as well, and then say directory selected, add that to the window because we're gonna need it. So we're gonna have everything load here. You can say load scenes. Need that be a function. Just pass it for now. Alright, let's save that and then reload project again. Now we can hit load. See, this opens up fresh. Just select where we need current folder. So now we're gonna set this text here as well, and yeah, that's it for now. So let's go here. We need references to everything, so let's just grab everything for now. So right here, say path label dot text would be equal to the directory. And now we can reload. Go here, load, refresh, say blocks, and then select. And there you go. Res that block. Okay guys, to create custom nodes, we'll first need to create a custom script, and we could call it pref button, for example. And make sure it's in the here. And now we need to set a few things up that we need. So for the button, for this button, we need it to have to store the path. So let's make a variable, then we'll call it scene path and leave that blank. Var, and make sure it extends the button class. And then we see, let's say scene name, and in the ready function we're gonna connect the signal. So we'll say button pressed on, and we need it to be the parent, the top parent, so 2 slashes mean the first parent, then we need that parent's parent, and then we need that parent's parent. So in the list here, so the buttons would be added right here. So we get this parent, and we get this parent, then we get this parent's parent, which is the root. Alright, moving on. So you're gonna say, what could we call it? Let's say item. Right here we call the function item press. We need to create that in the Windows script. Then we use the array to pass all the variables. So we could say scene name and then a comma, then scene path. Then you could save that. Close that off. Forgot to say get node. Now in the objects window, let's create this function. So let's copy that, go here, print that out for now. So path, yeah, just print path, and then plus name, sure. So now what do we need to do next? Okay, so to add the custom type, go back in the plugin, and it's simple as add the custom type. Here we have to give it a name and the base that it's referring to, like the custom button in this case, so it's gonna be a button. Then a script, which is gonna be that same script we just wrote, and we could add a texture, or I should, but say pref button, and it's derived from a button, and the path is just preload. You could lose load here, but I just left it as that for now. So where are you? Pref button GD. Let's drag that right in there, and then we need icon. Guess I have to have it. So let's say preload again. I'm gonna grab the icon. Okay, so I imported this little icon that I made for the last project. So now we could just drag in that right here, and we should be clear to go. So now if we save and reload the project, we now have let's for example make a window here, but we're not gonna use this for here. We're just gonna use it to populate this section here. So we can say add pref. There you go, pref button. So that's the icon we just made, and it has that script attached to it. Keep in mind it's only meant for this, so it will give an error if you try to use it anywhere else. Okay, back in the exit tree. This is in the plugins, you know. Remember to remove the dock. So remove control from dock. It's to call object window. And then we have to also remove custom type, and that's called pref button. Also free the window as well. So object window dot free. Alright, now over here we're gonna populate the scene here. There's a few things we need to do. First, we're gonna need a way to load all the files in the directory. So we're gonna say files. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna use this here. Gonna return a list of the files. It's all these, just by their names plus their extensions. And then we need a directory to open. So we create a directory class. And we start. And while it's true that there's more items in there, we can loop through and see if anything has dot on it before it. So we append it if it is, if that makes sense. Then we close the directory, then return all of the files that were appended or added to it. So right here, now we can go, let's delete that. First, we're gonna check to make sure there's nothing in there in the container. We need a reference to that actually. So for child in container dot get children child dot free. This is to prevent loading, like reloading the same thing over and over again and going down the list. So then we go var scenes, and then we're getting everything with that directory now. So files in directory and the path that we got. So that's the directory here. Remember, we're loading this up. This is when we open this and click the directory. Now we could say for scene in scenes, we're gonna for the create a button, and we called it the pref button. Forgot one thing. We need to make this a class. So class name pref button. This allows me to call it from anywhere. Say pref button up, save. Here it is. Pref button dot new. Now we could give it the name. So b dot name. This is the name of the object itself here, and we could tell it to be the scene. Then we're going again. Say, remember we're saying, what did we call it? Let's look back over here. Here, scene name and scene path. So we say scene name, set that to be the same scene again, and then b dot scene path, set that to be the directory. Oops. You have to do a trick here. So directory plus to add a comma there, then plus the scene again. So this isn't there by default, so this is the full scene, if that makes sense. And then we tell the container to add it as a child. Container add child, and we say button. Alright, let's save and load that again, see what happens. So we can hit load, refresh, blocks, bam, there you go. They're all added, but we didn't set the text, as in the text for the button itself. So we need to do that. Pretty straightforward. Let's come back here, b.text, set it to be the scene, there you have it. Alright guys, now we're gonna go over how to get input from the editor and the keyboard and mouse. So in order to get input, let's go into the plugin. So first you need to call the handles function and let it return true. That's the first step in that's the first step in getting other functions to work. And since we're using 3D in this case, we use the forward spatial GUI input. So that gives us access to the camera and the mouse and stuff like that. So let's first get the mouse. So we could say if event, say objects window that set mouse position. Okay, so we don't have this function in the window, so we're gonna create it. So we're basically grabbing the camera and we're grabbing the position of the mouse on the screen within the window. So let's just grab this here, copy that, and go over the window. Come here. We're gonna be going back and forth, so we need to create a variable as well. So we can say mouse position. So we also need another position, call that position 3D. We're gonna use that to calculate where the mouse is in 3D space using that Z depth label, Z depth value. We also need the Z depth. Let's set that to 4 by default since we had it at 4 in the here. So function space that mouse position, could remove that, just put POS. Alright, so in this function here we're gonna do, what is it? So the mouse position equal to POS, and then we could say position 3D. This is we're using the camera here. The camera, we're gonna project it up. Doesn't call because it doesn't know what it is. So the way you could fix that is the camera, so it gives you the functions. So project position, then screen point would be the mouse position, and the depth would be that Z depth value. So that's all for here. Now let's go back to the plugin. So we got that done. Could actually load it if you wanted, but sure, let's load it. So we could say, let's print this. So print position 3D. Alright, let's go here, create a scene. Let's open this down here. Click on that. Should work, but it isn't. Let's find out why. Okay, so I just realized I had input joy motion, but it should be mouse motion typo or my autocomplete typo. Alright, so now let's reload project. Now we should have a, there you go. Now it prints out that position. Alright, so we could remove those for now. Remove that. Remove that. So now we're gonna add 2 more functions here. elif event is input event mouse. Say if event dot button mask equals to button left, that's left click. We're gonna tell the objects window to call it another function that we're gonna create. So left click, then same for right click. Now let's add the input for the open and close brackets. So as if event is event input event key. So now we need to create left click, right click, and set Z depth. Also, let's set the label. Z depth label dot text is equal to. Okay guys, so now we need to set up left clicking and right clicking. So what we need to do here is we're gonna get the value of the button, the path that the button has stored on it, and then we're gonna load it in when you left click. So load in that specific item. So when you left click in the window, it loads it at the position, the 3D position that's right here. So first we need to get a variable, call it maybe active object path. So as long as it's nothing, it's not gonna do anything. So that's what we're gonna say here. So we're gonna say if active object path is equal to that, we're gonna return. Oops. And we can do all the work right here afterwards. And then if we right click, we're gonna say active object path equals to, sorry. We say active object path. We just set that to be that. So that's all right click does. So deactivate. And we need to set this thing as well. So we actually need two maybe. So var, let's say object name equals nothing. So as you can see, we need the name as well. So down here now, we're gonna create all of these. And we could say, let me see, where are we? Could say active, or object name I should say. Object name equals active object none there. So active object equals none. And we could just update that thing. So active object, did we create a reference? Nope, we didn't. So let's go here on ready for active object label LBL item. There you go. Save. Now down here we could say active active object label that text is equal to the object name. So we need this to be down here. Let's copy it over. So up item pressed right here. So now we're gonna have this to be equals to object name, then path will be, so active object path be equal to path. Remember that's the path of this here, because this is connected to item pressed and we're working with item pressed right here. And we could print it out as well, so we get to see it. Print active object path. Let's save that. Let's reload the project again. Can load, refresh, objects, boom, and there you go. And if you click one, this should change to floor, block, net. And we're printing out the path as well. You can see that here. All right. Next step is to now instance stuff. Let's go back to here. Object window. Where is our left click? Right here. Alright, so we have active object path. We set it down here just to keep track. So now var scene. This is creating the scene. Let's say load active object path. And then we could say var active object is scene dot instance. Now we need to get the get 3. So we're gonna get the current scene root. For this tutorial, we're just doing that. Get edited scene root. So that's just the spatial here, and we just add the child. That's the active object. Plus, we have to set the owner. So say active object again. That owner. Just copy this. You do this so the project can save and load, and it will be still there. Then we could now set the position. So active object, the global transform, that origin equals the position 3 that we set. There you go. Remember, we have the Z depth here already set up, and that should be all. Let's save. Oops. Let's reload the project. 3D scene. We can hit load. Refresh. Blocks. There you go. And make sure you have one selected. Set the floor. And if all is well, we can click and it should work. 1, 2, 3, bam. There you go. And there's one problem. There's always one problem. Global transform is not a function. So save. Let's reload again. You don't have to reload, you could just disable and enable the plugin, but I don't want to go through all of that. So there you go. Then say floor. We can place these anywhere. If you use the open and close brackets, should be increasing, but doesn't look like it is. Let's fix that. Oh, what is cane code? Always got typos. Okay guys, the other issue was I didn't have T here. I don't know how that happened, because, well, I guess I was typing out everything, but anyways, now we should be good. So we could go, let's go 3D scene. Let's just refresh and go from the top. So first, let's create a 3D scene, then we could load, refresh, blocks, then select current folder. We could hit floor, and now if we click, we add a block, and we can now use the brackets to change the depth. So we could put one over there, and let's come in a bit more on the screen. Put one closer up. You can see that happening. Alright, that should be it for the tutorial. Thanks for watching guys, and like and subscribe. Bye.